Welcome to the On the Move podcast. I'm your host, Eric, and I gotta be honest with you, I don't really know what I'm doing. Well, I know that I'm recording this podcast, but I don't know how to make a podcast, or I don't even know how to start a Spotify account and upload something on Spotify, but I'll figure it out. But that's kind of what this podcast will be about, and that's why I'm calling this On the Move. When you're on the move, you'll get answers, because the more you move, the more you'll start asking questions, and the more you keep moving, the more you'll get answers. So I think that's a healthy reminder to just keep going at whatever you're doing. It might not feel like the right thing, but that doesn't matter, because if you're doing something enough or doing an enough amount of time, you'll get answers of questions that you wouldn't even have thought of in the first place. So keep moving, do whatever you're doing, but just be conscious and ask questions, and you'll get answers. And everything will just feel as if it's fulfilling all the time, because you're constantly learning things, and that's just an amazing feeling. Anyway, it's the weekend. It's not actually the weekend at the time I'm recording this, but it's the weekend the day I'm uploading this. And I want to upload this every weekend. That's my plan. We'll see how it goes, but that's my plan. And I hope you can't hear the cars too much, because I'm actually sitting by a road, by this field. And that's because I want to be in places, recording this podcast in places where I feel like there's a lot of movement. And it's a bit windy, so there's a lot of movement here among these flowers. But anyway, it's the weekend. You've probably had a lot of things to do this week, and I want to start off this weekend with a big breath. So here we go. Feels good, doesn't it? Speaking of doing a lot of things, I'm sure many of you can relate to this. I don't know how many are gonna listen to this or watch this, but I'm mainly doing this for myself, by the way, because I have ideas and things in my head that I just gotta get out. Anyway, doing a lot of things can seem overwhelming, but it can also feel very fulfilling. Let's say you are doing a lot of things that you absolutely love doing, then that's usually not a problem. But if you're doing a lot of things that you don't love doing, then that usually feels like a problem. You might feel overwhelmed because of that. And it's not how much you're doing in a week or in a day or a month. It's actually what's fulfilling for you, or rather call it, in what direction are you doing things. See, I'm calling this podcast On the Move because we're always moving. We're always committed to something. And we all have things that we want to do or want to do more of, or just the fact that we have goals that we want to achieve, but we don't know how, and that's completely fine. But what doesn't feel fine most often is when we are doing things and we don't see results because of it. And I'm a perfect example of someone who has been feeling for way too long, many, many years, that I've just been doing a lot of things, but it doesn't feel like the results are there because of it, or at least not the results that I wanted to have seen by this time. And it's not because I haven't been doing a lot of things, it's because I've been lacking direction. And usually that comes with clarity of what you want and why you want to do something. But putting a why first and then trying to do something after that might also feel overwhelming. Because if you don't have a proper why, then yeah, it's going to be tough to achieve goals. But it might also be tough to find a why before you've even done anything. So my suggestion is that you find something that you enjoy doing, or something that just makes you happy. You don't even know if that's what you want to do in the future, and that's okay. But just find something that in some way, in some shape or form, gives you joy. And do that. And the more you do it, the more you'll find answers to what you should do or shouldn't do. As I said, I've been in the preparation phase for way too long. By the way, English is not my first language, so I'm sorry if I stumble on a couple of words. But I've been in the preparation phase for way too long, and I love doing videography and photography, and I love talking about personal development, even though I'm not a professional at doing so. But I want to get better, and that's why I'm doing this podcast. But I've realized that I've had all these ideas stuck in my mind, and all this preparation, all the hours in front of YouTube, learning things, all the videos on Instagram and TikTok for inspiration. Like, I have a big ass book by this time that I can just use as inspiration and just follow that. But the problem is that I'm not actually doing it. So obviously I can't achieve anything if I'm just in the preparation phase all the time. I gotta get in the game. Like, if you've done any sports, you know that practice is good, but you gotta get in the game, and only then you will actually be able to apply the things you're learning and then shape it in your kind of way to make you reach the goals that you want. And it's all individual, because someone can teach you how to play the game, someone can teach you the rules, but you might not feel fulfilled because of that. You might not feel like you're getting any results. And that's only because you cannot identify with the actual game. You gotta get in the game, and you gotta know how it feels to be there. So that's why I'm doing this podcast, because I want to be in the game and know what it feels like talking about personal development. This is actually my first time speaking to a camera like this about personal development, or actually pretty much my first time talking to a camera at all, almost, on my own, for this long. I have no idea how long this episode is gonna be. I have a few notes about what I want to talk about here. I got this notepad from my friend Phil. Thank you, Phil. And whenever a thought comes up, I'll just write it down in this notepad or on the phone, and I'll just stick to that. And I'll try to take action on that idea. But here's the thing. A lot of people, when they want to achieve things, or they want to have more things, maybe a goal or a new thing, or whatever it might be, a job, a relationship, a car. I'm sorry, there's gonna be a lot of stumbling during the first couple of episodes, and it might not be very nice to listen to, but if you have listened to this audio for this long, then thank you. What I was gonna say is, a lot of people try to change what they are doing to try and have different things, and that's fine, but it's usually not very sustainable. And I'm also an example of that, because if you want something and you're just changing the things that you're doing, it might work short term, but it's going to be tough for you in the long run. And the reason for that is because you need to change your identity. You need to change how you see yourself. There's an expression that's called be, do, have, and it's literally in that order how life works. Whenever you've done something, it's because you've seen yourself as a person who does that thing. Let's say you've never been to the gym before. You want to lose weight, for example, and you're going to the gym, you're changing the things you're doing, And yeah, this is a very typical New Year's resolution thing, because the gym is packed during January and February, and then during March it starts to drop, and then by April the gym is empty again. And that's because a lot of people are changing the things that I do. But if you're going to the gym seeing yourself as an overweight person and just trying to change your doing, then it's gonna be tough. You have to see yourself as a person who's fit and who wants to be healthy. And then it's gonna be way easier for you to create those habits, because that's who you are. And the actual definition of identity is just an emotional state. And the emotional state comes from how you see yourself. And how you see yourself is how you speak to yourself. It's what's programmed for you. So that can also be, of course, how or what other people have said about you, and that makes you think a certain way about yourself. But you have the power to say things about yourself that no one else can. Or they can, but not as often as you. You can literally go all day with an audio that you recorded, with an audio in your ears saying you are a healthy person. And then by repetition, you will start learning that you are indeed a healthy person. I know this might sound very, in Swedish we say flummigt. It might sound very arbitrary. I don't know if that's the correct use of that word, but it sounds, it might sound like it's hard to grasp or connect to your daily life. But the more you think of it during your week, when you're going to work or when you're going to bed in the evening, you will start noticing more and more how much an effect it can have on the way you see yourself, by thinking of the way you're repeating things to yourself. And obviously I'm only able to think of myself in this scenario. I'm a person, or I have been a person for a long time, that have been a bit too hard on myself on certain things, and repeating to myself very bad things when I don't feel proud, or when I don't feel like I have a lot of energy, when I'm in a low state of energy. It's been in the past very easy for me to repeat bad things, and that made me see myself as a bad person. Not necessarily an evil person, but just bad at doing things that I wanted to be doing, or a bad person at feeling the things I wanted to feel. And I didn't know why, but it's a big part because of how I repeated things, or how I saw myself, really, because that affected what I said to myself during especially hard times. Not even hard times, actually, just times where I didn't feel like I did what I was supposed to do or wanted to do. Yeah, I'm diving too much into this, I think. But what I want to say also is that I've been so much better lately at not trying to be perfect. And not necessarily being perfect to other people, but being perfect to me. Because in my head, sometimes before an assignment, or if I want to go out and take pictures or make a video, in my head I have this vision about how I want it to be. And if it's not exactly the way I envisioned it, then that could have been bad from my point of view. And obviously that's not a healthy habit to try and be perfect all the time. But failing is very much necessary, because if you're trying to be perfect, I'm coming back to what I said earlier about me being a good example of someone who's been pushing things that I want to do ahead instead of actually doing them, being in the preparation phase. Then that means trying to be perfect means a lot of preparation, and kind of being afraid to fail will be a result of that. Because if I don't get in the game, I don't have to fail. If I'm just preparing all the time, then hey, perfect, I'll never make a mistake. But once you get in the game, it's real life, and you'll not be perfect. And it doesn't matter how you envisioned it, because usually there are other people involved in whatever you're trying to do, and things will not go as planned. And that's okay. So learn to be good with failing, and don't see it as a failure that's connected to you as a human being. See it as a happening that's there to teach you something. I think that's a big reason for why I've been so scared of failing before, or being bad at something overall, is that I've been tying my identity or my self-worth to these things that I want to do. So if I'm out doing a photo shoot and I want a picture that's absolutely perfect, then that would have been because I've seen my self-worth in this work, in that photo that I was trying to capture. So if that photo is not perfect, I will not be perfect. And I hate not being perfect. And that's not a good way looking at the things you're doing, because they have nothing to do with you as a person. The only thing that has to do with you as a person is the way you see yourself. And the way you see yourself shapes your identity. And your identity is the be. And the be will show itself in the doing, and the doing will create the having. So if you're trying to achieve a goal, separate yourself from the things you're doing. Don't tie your identity to it. Just see yourself as a human being that has unlimited potential, because that's exactly who you are. When you were born, you were not born with insecurity. You were not born with people who have said things to you that you have now, as an adult, learned. The only thing you had, well, you had fingers and toes, most likely, but the only thing you had, except the physical part of yourself, is the fact that you are potential. You are unlimited potential. You are energy. And if you ever see someone that has a lot of energy and you ask them, whoa, where did they get all the energy from? It's not that they got energy from anywhere, it's that they know how to release it. I'm not really sure where I'm going with this right now, but that's okay. This podcast is not going to be perfect, and that's fine. I just feel like I need to get my ideas out there. I need to speak about it, and that will make me feel like I'm gaining clarity. And that's very important for me, and it should be important to you too. Because when you have clarity, you will ask the right questions. And when you ask the right questions, you will find answers that will put you in the direction of where you want to go. Anyway, you are unlimited potential. So am I. And there's nothing else. Don't tie yourself and your identity to the things you have done, the products you have made, or the people that are around you, or the objects that are around you. Because if you do, oh, now I remember where I was going. I was thinking about me tying my identity and my self-worth to the things that I have done. And that's why I was afraid of failing. Because if I fail, then that means I am a failure. And that's obviously not the case. I am just potential. I am just a human being that has unlimited potential of learning and developing. We are made for, what's the Swedish word, överflöd? Abundance. We are abundance. We are made to develop ourselves and our surroundings. We are made to learn more and be better every day. And that starts with us understanding that that's exactly what we are. We are not our products. We are not our things around us. We are not things that we have made. Once you separate yourself from the things you are creating, like I have done, it will be much easier for you to understand that you are fine with failing. You are fine with making mistakes. You are fine with not creating things that are perfect. Because even if it's perfect for you, it might not be perfect for someone else. And vice versa. I hope to God you can't hear all the cars running by and it's not too distracting. Anyway, what do I have more on my notepad? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I have no idea how long this episode is gonna be. This has been fun. I'm gonna have to do this more often. Not because I know where it's gonna lead to. I have actually no idea. The only thing I know is that I want to be better at speaking, especially English, because I love traveling and I have a lot of friends all over the world and I'm very grateful for that. Thank you, all the friends, wherever you are. And I've noticed that when it comes to perfection, trying to be perfect, being occasionally great is far worse than being consistently good. Because when you're consistently good, it's a sign that you have been practicing and you're still learning. It's a sign that you're actually on the move, learning constantly, and that's very important for us to grow. So yeah, that's a big part of why I'm calling this podcast On the Move, because in one way or another, we are all in an ocean of motion. That's us. We are molecules. We are energy. We are surrounded by flowers. And even when we aren't, even when we are feeling stuck, we're also on the move. We're also in motion. We just gotta find guidance and direction. And that will make things a hell of a lot easier. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end there because I don't know what else to say right now. But I wanna end this with a song, actually, because because one way of being in motion is by dancing. So I think I'm gonna end every episode by bringing up a song that you or me like to move to. And this week's song will be Walking on a Dream by Empire of the Sun. I don't know if you can hear this, but it's a banger. Anyway, thank you for listening. If you have been listening, that's crazy. I am so happy that you have been listening or watching, because I'm gonna upload this as a video as well. And I'll definitely do more of these. I mean, yeah, English again. How do I end an episode? Oh, if you are listening to this, I want you to make a comment of a song that you like to move your body to, that you like dancing to, or just walking to, I don't know, going to the gym to. Just put a song that you enjoy, and I will play that in the next episode. I will pick one. And if there's just one comment, then that's the song we're gonna choose. All right, anyway, have an amazing weekend, have an amazing week. I don't know when you're listening to this, but I want you to feel amazing no matter what. I'll talk to you in the next episode, I guess. Thank you, and goodbye.